Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Here in the top left, we're going to have Scan, good friend of mine. You guys know him, you love him. One of the best Terrans in the world, going up against Speed. You guys love him as well. Such a fun Terran player. A lot of people have said that this is actually their favorite Terran to watch right now, and I definitely can't really argue with that. Speed is just so much fun to watch, and you know, he's really becoming not only an ASL regular, but I think he's gonna be around a 16 regular as well. He's just like really strong. Definitely one of the future top Terran. Well, he already is one of the top Terrans, so I'm not even gonna say future. And I would say Scan is a future top Terran. Like he's, you know, he got round of 16 in ASL season 19. You know, it just missed out on season 20. That happens sometimes. Unfortunate. But yeah. It's, I don't know, it's been a while since I've done a TVT. I saw some people commenting lately that it's been a while for any mirror matchups. Here's the thing, guys, no matter how many of you comment, I could literally have every single comment in a video be like, we love mirror matches. They are so great. The mirror matches literally every single time perform more poorly than non-mirror matchups. It is just a fact. Everyone has a favorite race, and people don't like mirrors as much. You know, if there's like a Hive ZVZ, that one might outperform, and that would be about it. So, there you go. But I still like to do them. I know that some people still like to see them, and I like mirror matchups. I really love Terran versus Terran. Zerg versus Zerg, I can have or not have for a bit. Like, you can't even begin to convince me that Protoss versus Protoss or Zerg versus Zerg are as cool as Terran versus Terran. Terran versus Terran is just like actually a ridiculously dynamic matchup with so many different build orders and strategies and styles that you can play in it. And that's not the case with the other two. Yes, it is, Artosis. You can do a DT opener. Okay, just shut up. Why do you even sound like that? Now, taking a look here. This is a center 8 rack, so it's going to be a pressure build coming out of Speed. Scan is going to scout the center. So he's going to see what this is, and he's going to have to battle for control of high ground. Because this can get really dangerous. Like, you can actually make a bunker up here, and it becomes really difficult to break out of that. So he's making a second Marine here. I think he'll actually make a third. And yeah, here comes some SCVs as well. He is going to keep one SCV on gas for now. That could have gone either way, I feel like. I think he just wants to get 50 gas to make sure he can buy an add-on if he needs. I would like to see him take that off after 50, but right now he's really got to focus on this. So 4 SCVs and 2 Marines against 3 Marines and an SCV. You know, this is favored for Scan, but things can go wrong with very good micro. So far, really good micro on both sides. And in fact, another Marine coming up. So they both lost 1 SCV. Overall, Scan's hold is really good. That was very well done. Very well executed. If he had not scouted the center, he could have been in some trouble. So, excellent excellent play there from Scan. Okay, anyways, I actually... and this is turning into a 2-factory build. Wow. A 2-factory build follow-up. There's several follow-ups to 8 racks. When 8 racks gets held... Like, 8 racks' actual win rate against factory expansion, by the way, is extremely low. This is one of the best maps for it, and Scan still blocked it. So, Scan is advantaged here, but you're trying to catch him off guard. You try to catch him off guard with this, didn't work. He's trying to catch him off guard with this now. And there's 3 follow-ups to 8 racks. One is 2-factory, and there's a few different 2-factory variants, and there's some really clever ones, but this is just a straight 2-factory. And in fact, he's even going armory with it. So there's 2 factory variants. There's factory starport where you go vultures non-stop with no add-on, and you go for a wraith. And then there's just expansion with vultures non-stop. So yeah, those are kind of the different ideas that you can look at to try to recover positions like this. But the win rate is extremely low. I've mentioned it a lot of times. Ooh, I like this a lot that he's coming around to pick these off, because a bunker would actually be ruining for him. And, a supply depot. A supply depot is actually still pretty good. Only 1 factory here for Scan. This is actually going to be very tough for Scan. He thinks he's playing against a 1 factory variant. Whether he thinks that he's playing against factory starport or factory command center, I don't know. But the way he's playing, you would never do this against 2 factory. Okay. The 2 vultures come up and actually will pick off. He saves this, Speed saves this barracks for the time being. And he is going to lose his vultures from the 2 factories. So that is painful, but he's getting into Goliaths. Do we have the armory? Okay, armory is coming up. And the 2 Goliaths coming out. Scan will see these. Now, he might just threaten a run by. Okay, he's very aware of exactly what's going on now. Getting 1 add-on, but he only has 3 vultures to speak of. 2 vultures in his base. Holy crap. This is bad. This is very, very, very bad. The one thing we can say is that Speed does not have an additional command center. So, like, he has work to do with these Goliaths still, but they're on the path to do that work. Siege tank just started. The Goliaths are getting there very quickly. 4 vultures die to the 2 Goliaths. And, of course, he has some more coming up, and it actually gets worse and worse for the vultures here. SCVs have to be pulled. Brings them right up. These are already damaged, unfortunately. So these are going to fall really, really quickly. Scan is up 6 SCVs. So he's still, like, technically winning by the numbers, but this is not a bad position at all for Speed. This game has been so action-packed, I haven't been able to talk about anything I wanted to here. Yeah. Anyways, I saw just a quick Cliff's Notes of what I wanted to talk about if it was a slow early game. I wanted to see Scan versus Speed because Speed is really regular in ASL and Scan is off and on in ASL. I want to kind of see what the difference is looking like between them. And stylistically, the difference I find really interesting. Now, this command center flying up, if he kills the command center, we get back to a pretty darn even state pretty quickly. He's actually brought 2 SCVs to heal the Goliaths. And he doesn't look like he's going to quite get the command center. 3 siege tanks pushing these back pretty quickly. Siege tanks actually can dominate Goliaths unless the Goliaths are in a pretty... unless there's quite a few more Goliaths. And in the early game, it's really easy to get enough Goliaths to beat siege tanks. But once you start hitting around 5 siege tanks, it becomes very difficult. And you get more and more all in with the Goliaths. Just to put this out there. Now, they do have the high ground, and he's using them very well. This micro from Scan here is really strong. We'll end up losing that. The SCV's helping to block there. Very helpful. Speed has taken the SCV advantage and has a command center just finishing. So Speed has taken this very difficult position and actually turned it into something here. Okay. We're at 4 tanks, Siege and Speed on the way. Tanks being made from his opponent as well. So Speed is going to have his own tanks. He's going to have Siege mode coming up. I actually think this game will stabilize. I don't quite see Scan being able to push in time. It's a little tricky because you don't know exactly when they're switching to Siege tanks. So, like, for instance, guys, if he took Vulture plus tanks and started pushing, he might get over here and there might be 8 Goliaths up here and they just walk down and kill all the tanks. And then Speed wins the game, right? So he doesn't quite know, but he does have Vulture Speed coming. So the Vultures are going to be able to scout exactly what's going on. And here they go. Pre-Speed, in fact, they move in. It's going to find, okay, he's mining. And look at this, the army actually having to turn around. So this is, the harassment itself is so good from Scan. If he had Vulture Speed already, man, he could have made a beeline for the main base when those came back. But he actually evens out the SCV count. That's really, really good for him. 2 Vultures doing that's amazing. By the way, the fact that he went into Vultures off 2 factory is surprising. You don't see that very often. Normally, you'll just stay on Goliath tank because they have higher overall value, but the harassment he got was actually very good. Ooh, the vision here is much better from Speed. They both trade quite a bit right there, but Scan has a bit more. So Scan going to take a bit of an advantage as far as army goes. Took some damage on these units, so does have to be careful still. Speed coming up. I think Speed just needs to kind of like siege in this general area. And maybe like, I think he has to mass factory. Like he can't expand again, for instance. Normally, when you have this type of army that looks like this, what you want to do is take a fast third. Okay, he's going to... Actually, this makes more sense than what I was saying with sieging here. The reason why I was going to say mass factory is because he has to make sure he has this position. This position, Dominator is rotationally symmetric, and in Terran versus Terran, if you're behind your opponent's main base, you have the advantage positionally. The reason for that is what you would do is you'd try to push up and take this position on this particular map, but any map it would look similar. You take something that is threatening a push at the front, but also sieges into the main. And then if you get dropships out, you just dismantle their main base. It is incredibly hard to overcome. 3-player maps for TVT are very dynamic because of this and the fact that you can't split map. Because of those two reasons, like TVT on 3-player maps, way more dynamic, way more fun than most maps, I would say. You just can't really get endless siege lines that make the game go to BCs. Okay. Scan does a forward siege here, so he's still in a good enough position where he might be able to abuse the back of the base. Going up to 4 factories. He has a starport getting dropship. Makes perfect sense the way Scan's playing. Speed wants to take this base. Also makes perfect sense. He can't get anything quality done with dropships. He is going to run these in, and he's going to actually get confirmation that dropships are on the way. So that's actually really, really good that he got that. Very worth the vultures. But like, if you look at positionally, him loading up dropships and getting damage done doesn't make sense. He has to go way through the middle of the map or up around the side, and that would end up in the natural, which is easier to clear, right? So it doesn't make too much sense. What makes sense is him trying to expand and defending well against dropships, then maybe overwhelming someone who expanded later and also spent money on drops. This is a really... You see fundamentally how strong both these guys are. They're both like really playing the roles of their positions very, very well. A scan from Scan into the main base, seeing the scanner being built by Speed. Going to drop his Goliaths very speedily upon these tanks here. Meh. Doesn't really do that much, but maybe he can pick off 2 tanks. Yeah, he has to run away as more units come up. Okay, I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It's not like what he was looking for, but it's not, you know, it's technically a good trade. Speed Vultures running around. Love this from Scan. Positionally, he's playing so well. I actually played Scan TVT on this map recently. It was actually one of the most learning games I've had in a very, very long time. I felt like I played well, like I maxed out, got a lot of bases and stuff. I actually got to talk to him about it afterwards. And I feel like I learned more from that one game than I've learned about TVT in quite some time. Very helpful, very awesome. Scan's a great guy. But to watch... that's part of why I wanted to watch this as well, by the way. But to, like... you know, to go from that and then to see him here against Speed, who's, like, getting around a 16 pretty regularly in ASL and everything. And he's putting out, like, this fundamentally, like, awesome game. If you look, like, I think I said this before, and I'm gonna take, I'm not a friend approach, but like realistically, I'm not just saying this, like Scan doesn't watch ArtosisCasts. Okay, I promise. But I think Scan is probably the most balanced Terran player. If you look at everyone coming up, well, obviously Flash, right? But I hate always having to mention Flash is the best at everything. It's like kind of annoying. But like this, Scan is truly a jack of all trades. And if you look at this, for instance, how he's played this position, do you see this? He's got like mines, and he's got a siege line here, right? Like if you look at how he's playing it overall, like he's doing the right moves. He's putting things into position. You know, a lot of people have mentioned that StarCraft TVT is like Go, and you can see, right? You can see how that's kind of the case. He's kind of making this arc. He's like he's getting a little bit down. Some of it gets pushed back, sure. But he's like getting things into the correct position so that he can form a siege line around, so he can see units moving on his side. All right, a little run-in with these vultures. Gonna end up losing quite a few, but he gets a decent amount of SCVs, takes a little economic advantage. Scan taking a 4th base here. This is gonna be an area that he probably wants to missile turret. I think you probably want to make a lot of missile turrets in here, maybe siege a couple tanks, and just like have everything here shut down. And then he's also got control of center right now, so that leaves down here. So speed has to play through the bottom, but playing through the bottom isn't bad because the other main is down here. And that's the thing about 3-player maps where you can't divide them in half. If speed takes control of this area and Scan has the rest of the map, Scan still has a lot of surface area to deal damage, but speed actually has more bases. Better bases is probably a better way to describe that. The mineral bases don't really matter all that much, FYI. Like, eventually you can mine them out in TVT, but it's kind of rare. It's like battlecruiser games, which, like I said, 3-player maps almost never go to battlecruisers because it just has to do with, like, taking the main back and forth from each other. Very rarely you'll see a split, like someone here, mass siege tanks on both sides. Rare, but it happens. Second starport's up for Scan. Science facility. So now we've seen speed. He's taken this position and he's gone around. If speed clears center, he takes the advantage in this game. This is actually a really important place for Scan right now. But Scan also has to make sure that he has this defended. Like, he cannot let this army move forward. If he loses these two bases, like these two positions, and he can't get to them because speed moved up this side, that's going to be like a crushing victory over time. The thing is, like, there's still chances for Scan, even if that happens. He's got double starport, so he can go mass dropship or possibly like a tricky Wraith switch. But like, when you have 4 gases going in TVT, you can just like max out really quickly and stay maxed for a very long time. You can see a few spider mines up here, a single siege tank. He's going to start making missile turrets. He's making them a little far back, so it's not easy to siege from the outside. You can see a few missile turrets here, at least from Scan. Throwing down some depots, as he did hit a supply block up here at 160. It's hard to fit all your depots in this base. Very difficult. Speed has his own 4th base up a little bit after Scan's. Scan taking a 5th, because why not? And Scan reinforcing center, which is incredibly important. Like I said, this is one of the keys to this game, is the center. If Scan keeps center, and in fact, this is really good positioning. Speed should really try to remove these tanks. But if he holds center, and in fact, this area, it allows him a potential flank later. But Speed is going to jump on this area. Okay, he removes that. If he can just block this exit, it becomes much better for him. And he's got 1 tank that's touching that. By the way, his +2 is done, and Scans is actually very slow this game. That's a slow +2, or 18 minutes. That's a very slow +2. Just want to point that out. That makes Speed's position a bit better. He might have misclicked or something. I'm surprised it's that late. You can see how badly he's devastating this attack in. Scan really wants to clear this side. Because, like, yeah, he's just getting more and more stuck. Now, Scan actually made a group of Wraiths. But this just encourages more missile turrets. I don't think the Wraiths actually do very much here. And you can't really go Wraith plus dropship. Your army becomes too weak. It's too much supply in flying units. So what he'll probably utilize here is like the Wraiths to maybe pick some tanks or help break positions, but I don't see it really working well. I feel like there's enough anti-air. +2 Goliaths, a few missile turrets. It's funny, this game kind of reminds me a little bit of my game against Scan, but opposite sides, where you see like Speed closing in on him, and he's like, Speed's like, nope, I control more of the map. And Scan's like, damn, what do I do here? Like, how do I break out of this? Another missile turret going up. He hasn't cleared center completely, but you can see how he can move through here. That's really important. +2 not done yet still. Lots of units moving into this area. Both players... Well, Scan is actually up a base right now, by the way, and in fact is taking another one. But positionally, he's pretty boned right now. Speed is really taking the map. Like, it doesn't matter if he has a 5th base mining or not right now. What matters is if he gets, like, a really dominating position. And that's what he's doing. So, what he just did here, you no longer have movement onto this side of the map at all. In fact, the only movement you have is either bringing all your units to bust this, which would actually not be a bad play, or trying to go through center, which is very difficult through these little holes. It looks like he's getting ready to try to bust here, but speed did move a few units up. This is like really, really important. This is probably the game decider. If Scan can't break this, if he breaks this, he's still in the game. If he doesn't break this, the game will probably just end there, or maybe Scan stays in the game, but it's not going to be pretty. Okay, he's moving up. By the way, Valkyrie Wraith for speed now. Okay, this is good. This is good. He needs a siege, though. He can't let these 3 tanks hold him back. He needs to actually push forward here. Push forward, push forward. Okay. Now, the Wraiths have come up, and there's very few Goliaths here. Here come the Wraiths of Scan, and he's pre-scanning for it, and we have, like, these Valkyries in here. Luckily, that Valkyrie was aggroed onto the barracks, so he's able to pick that off super fast. Maybe a little bit too much micro there, but he is starting to take out these Wraiths. Speed pulls back because of the Goliaths. But look at this position Scan suddenly has. So Scan is back in this game. This was looking bad for a moment, but he took a very valuable position. He's sieging the main. There's real potential here for him to break through the whole thing. You break someone's... Oh, man. If this was lifted up, this would be so much better for him. Jeez. That tank he's having a hard time seeing. Okay, clears it. This is super dangerous. Look at all these dropships coming over. Do they have units? Oh my god. He's going to kill everything in this main base. In the meantime, like, this base should get shut down. He has no real rotation that can come down here and save this. So this base is going to be shut down completely. Scan's doing a good job. He's on 5 base. He's going to kill a lot of the main. He might not kill the whole thing. Like, sometimes you can just make a siege line and save these. Save your facts. Build your depots elsewhere. But this is definitely going to slow speed quite a bit. Quite a bit. He's committing a ton of units here. So now speed has to decide, do I try to save this? Do I just cut my losses, make a siege line here and save the factories and build depots elsewhere? I think that's the best move. And then he needs to think about all these other spots. He's already made a couple facts down here. He's super supply blocked right now. Siege tanks are the Terran Corsairs. Well, it looks like he wants to push and maybe do a similar move of his own, taking the very same position over on Scan's side of the map. Okay, definitely going to want to siege here. This game could go either way. 100%. Like, this is a crazy, crazy game right now. Scan is moving down through the center. Oh, God. If he kills this base, it's going to go to Scan, I think. This has been such a back-and-forth monster of a TVT. Absolutely loving it. And you can see how dynamic a 3-player map really can be in this matchup. Oh, he's going to try to bring the SCVs down for a flank during this. Scan, by the way, much, much bigger bank. It actually hurts to lose economy right now for speed. All right, he's trying to move up into a slightly better position here. Clears that tank. Denying mining at this base is huge. So speed has this. Trying to make SCVs there, but like, he's barely mining. Scan has this, and he's had to lift this, and this got killed. So Scan is going to have basically twice the mining going on, and he has a much bigger bank and more supply. Very, very good here from Scan. I think the really decisiveness of moving down, taking this position, then doing a mass drop here, and taking that moment where he's supply blocked, shoving an army down here to deny this base, and then just taking all the units he has left and clearing this out. You look at all these moves, really great moves from Scan from a behind position. Sorry, I was thinking of some stupid tennis meme or something. Great from behind. Yeah, okay. Anyways, the Wraiths here are going to help him to re-clear this expansion and get his own mining back up. But how many siege tanks do we have? Actually, quite a few. Quite a few. Quite a healthy count. Scan going to break this base, so that's very painful. The Wraith's not going to do a good job here. Too many Goliaths. Trying to make a couple tanks here. Actually, I mean, getting a couple tanks siege here, not a bad idea. He's trying to bring up these tanks. Even, like, this move is pretty good. If he sieges this and it deals some damage to Goliaths, his Wraiths can actually clear the rest of the Goliaths. Very good play. Yeah, 2 Goliaths left. You can absolutely kill those with the Wraiths. You can absolutely kill those. If you want to just clear this quickly, you can unsiege and push through too. Like, there's all sorts of choices here. It's just how quickly do you want to do everything? Excuse me. All right, I think Scan has hit escape velocity on this game now. Like, the last chance here for speed that I see... Oh, God, this is a good move from Scan, too. Yeah, he's going to kill even more depots. The last chance for speed is specifically this position. If he can build his tank count up really dramatically and have, like, a lot of tanks here and kind of light zoning here like he's doing and good siege here and good siege here, he could take this base and this base, right? And what can Scan take? Scan could take maybe this one and this one for sure. These bases are better than these bases. I don't think we get into the mineral base matters territory. Possibly. Yeah, I think that's about what's left as far as potential. Okay, the Wraiths are actually going to come over and clear this out. Okay, yeah, this is really, really good for him. Really, really good. A few Valkyries coming in. There's no upgrades for any of these flying units. Scan is getting +1 air. Here's an armory being made once again here. I guess we actually don't have an armory at all. Wow. Can't make his own Valkyries. Can't make his own Goliaths. It's kind of funny. Not normally a position that you find. All right, gonna lay some offensive mines. Getting up here with the tank Goliath, just clearing everything that he can. Excellent decision-making here from Scan. If those 4 tanks had been pre-siege, if he had everything basically sieged here, he could have actually killed all of these units. But he was a little bit more spread out there, unfortunately. Yeah, trying to take out these Goliaths. And I guess he will. I guess he will actually be able to kill these tanks. The command center should go down, though. 3-2 upgrades, man. Wraiths just are not doing it anymore. And that is basically going to do it. I think speed just has to GG. I just don't see him getting any more done. He's making some Goliaths. Technically, 3-2 Goliaths pop. Or no, they're 3-0. It's Scan that's 3-2. You know, Goliaths popping out here could actually kill these Wraiths, but... Yeah, he's grasping at straws here. Almost nothing left. It's funny how one Goliath makes such a difference. Wraiths are so weak. Truly a great TVT. A great TVT, and it's lasted quite some time now, but we are definitely at the end. As Scan, you know, just has better positions all over the place, better air army, better upgrades. Not that the 2 armor makes that much of a difference. Okay, GG is called. So this game was really back and forth. It started out, Scan outplayed speed on the blocking the Marine Rush, although it was a build order advantage for Scan, but like he scouted it, he out-microed. Speed outdid him with the switch into Goliaths off the 2 factory and got really good damage and got an advantage. And then it was kind of even for a little bit. After that, Scan did a good job with like the vulture counterattack and everything, getting his mines laid around the map. And then Speed started massively outplaying him, like going around and getting like a position over here. And it actually forced Scan into the most powerful move that you have in these positions, which is taking here, which allowed him to come back and take the game. Crazy game, though. Crazy game. TVT is beautiful. Let me know if you love mirror matchups and want to see them all the time. It's not going to change how I do things, but I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time.